When it comes to gardening, why should adults have all the fun? Kids will love homemade cookies and candies, desserts and ice creams and beverages and things like that that are flavoured from herbs and things that we can grow in the garden. They'll love being outdoors and sharing in the experience of planting and growing and picking some of the things that you'll be growing in the garden. There's nothing better than coming out and picking these little cherry tomatoes. These little cherry tomatoes are so sweet they can eat them right off the plant. And when they touch the leaves of this purple leaf basil, or perhaps touch the leaves on a clump of mint, or even just brush against the leaves of lemon-scented thyme, they'll be able to experience things that they wouldn't normally come across. And they like how these plants from Footprints Plants, the edible line, are nice big strong plants that when you plant them in the ground grow away quickly and give quick results. Now many years ago, in fact when I think about it now, it was several decades ago, I used to go and help my grandmother in her garden. And that was the inspiration, the spark that got me interested in gardening and growing plants and led me on a very rewarding lifetime of growing and talking about plants and of course eating them too. So if you've got wee ones coming to visit, whether they be grandchildren, nieces and nephews or your own little ones, take them out into the garden and let them see something of what's to be done when they grow outdoors. It's good for them and of course it's very nutritious too. Now of course it's very important to make it both fun and interesting, and here's a little idea that I think you might like to try. And that's growing them in a fun container. Now it could be almost any sort of thing, even an old shoe or a boot. In this case what I'm using, as you see, is a little bucket and spade. Children love this sort of thing. If you use them, just make sure to have holes in the bottom. The drainage is very important. Then what you need is some gravel, something that you can put in the bottom of the pot just to aid drainage. Make sure that the variety that you get is going to fit inside the container. And remember that these plants from Footprints Plants have these biodegradable pots on them. So that means that there's no waste, there's no plastic to recycle, and they get away to a very quick start. Very important for children because they tend to be a little impatient, aren't they? Anyway, when you start off with these, as you see, you get nice, good, big, strong plants that are of course sustainably grown, so they're very good to eat, as well as being ones that'll get you off to a quick start. Then fill the bottom of the little bucket with some compost, and here I'm using Coast of Maine lobster compost here. I like the fact that this is approved for organic purposes. Then take your plant and just put it in the middle of the little bucket, push it down a little bit so that there's a little space left for watering, and then simply just fill in with the compost around the side, making sure that you've got good contact with the sides of the pot because that's where the roots are going to come out, and the compost. So just fill that in like so, and in no time at all, as you see, you've got a herb that's very attractive and pretty. You can take their name if you wish and put it on the side of the little spade here, so that this is individualized for the various children. Now I'm using here lemon scented thyme, which of course is absolutely gorgeous when you just touch it and then smell your fingers, and great to eat too. In fact, there's lots of varieties that come with these edible plants from Footprints Plants, and if you watch in, Jonathan Bozak, I'm sure, will be giving you all sorts of ideas that you can use them in all sorts of very tasty and interesting recipes. Now the plants are available from a network of garden centres throughout the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. There's lots of different ones to choose from, so you can choose the ones that are likely to be best for you and the children's needs. And you can do fun things with them. As I see, you've got this little thyme growing here, but how about this hairy monster here? This is chives, as you see, looking very nice in this little yellow bucket. I'm also have here this upward growing rosemary, which of course is a delicious herb to have. And then look at this very pretty one here. This is a variegated form of sage. Looks very, very nice in this purpley colored bucket. So as you see, there's lots of fun things that you can do to encourage your children to be interested in gardening and in growing some herbs. This is David Wilson. Enjoy your gardening. It's very good for us and our children, and it's very good for the environment too.